Well, I tell you what, we didn't learn much about the Trailblazers tonight. Didn't really learn much. They got the victory 129-125 over the Atlanta Hawks, but that was a Hawks team that was playing without Trae Young. And the Trailblazers, they did what they have to do if they're going to win basketball games right now. That is shoot the basketball really well, make a bunch of threes, and let their offense carry them to victory. I think it was Lamar Hurd who said this during the broadcast tonight, and he emphasized something that I have talked about now for the last, 3 or 4 years. You know, there's a difference between teams like Portland or teams like Atlanta and then the upper crust in the NBA, the teams who are legitimate contenders. And it's this right here, that teams like Portland can win games on nights when Dame's got it going, when the offense looks good, when they're making a bunch of threes, when they're protecting the basketball. Tonight, Portland shot 54% from the field, and they made a scorching hot 19 of 40 from three-point range. Those are great numbers. And when the Blazers shoot like that, they're going to win games on most nights. But the problem is, what do you do on nights when you don't have your best stuff, when you don't have your best offense, when Dame doesn't have it going? Or as Lamar pointed out, when Ant doesn't knock down that three that, broke the tie when it was tied at 121. What happens when you face adversity? Well, the good teams, they can rely on their defense to get stops. They can manufacture points through pressure in transition to get easy buckets on nights when the offense isn't there. And that's what it's all about. So, now for Portland, a squandered opportunity because, before the month of January, I said, Chris, go through the month of January and come up with a number. I think the Trailblazers were scheduled to play 16 games, 15 or 16 games during the month of January. I had him go through the schedule and count up wins. I did the same thing. We both thought they got a chance to win 10 games, double-digit wins in the month, especially with all the home games. They just finished up their longest stretch at home tonight at Moda Center, 6 straight games. And if you go back a little bit deeper, 10 of their last 11 games were at Moda Center. Well, the road game was at Denver. That was a loss. And if you look at the home games and isolate those, they finished up 3-3 over the latest 6-game stretch, but in those 10 games, they were 5-5. And that's a missed opportunity. It was supposed to be the time when they really kind of righted the ship after the rocky schedule, the challenges they had to start the year with all the road games and the trips and the wonky travel schedule, and they just couldn't get the job done for one reason or another. But really what it comes down to is, a roster that is composed in a way where the Blazers are too reliant upon offense. And going into the game tonight, they were 25th in the NBA in defensive rating, which is not good. You're in the bottom portion of the league defensively, and that highlights the issue. Now, the other thing that was troubling tonight, Josh Hart and Yusuf Nurkic both back in. Hart had the hamstring issue, Nurk with the calf. They missed a game, the game on Saturday against Toronto. They were both back in there tonight, but we saw once again the rebounding issues. And if you want to really look at the numbers and why Portland struggled to win this game, there's a couple of things there. One, they allowed the Hawks to knock down 13 of 30 from three-point range. Atlanta, 46.8 from the field, so they shot the ball pretty well. And they also got 24 free throws up and in. But it was the rebounding, once again, that was a difficult issue for Portland. The Hawks able to dominate the glass with a 45-32 edge, and they went after it on the offensive glass. 17-3 edge in offensive rebounding. And if you look at the numbers, in second chance points, 21-3 edge for the Hawks. The offensive rebounding was a killer. And props to Atlanta. They weren't playing with Trae Young tonight, but Dejounte Murray had a team-high 40 points. Dame with 42 tonight. He was 17 of 17 from the foul line. Dame was huge, and he had the great pass late to set up Ant on that three-pointer with 34.1 seconds remaining, which gave them the lead that they did not relinquish. So props to the Hawks for their execution. They hung in there. They battled on the glass and put themselves in a position, but the Blazers just too sharp down the stretch. 42 for Dame, a game high. As I mentioned, 17 of 17 from the foul line. 21 points and 7 assists for Ant. Another effective floor game for Ant, who's shooting the ball well. 8 of 12, 5 of 8 from 3. And a good all-around game for Ant. 22 points for Jeremy Grant. Back-to-back games of, good scoring. Also efficient play from Jeremy Grant. And Yusuf Nurkic checked back in after missing the game 26 minutes tonight. 12 points and 5 rebounds. 9 points, 12 boards for Josh Hart. And I would say the other bright spot, of course, Shaedon Sharpe. 24 minutes tonight, 10 points, 4 rebounds. Connected on 4 of 9 from the field, but once again, just showcasing the length and the athleticism and just, showing flashes. Showing a lot of flashes at 19 years old of what he could be, which is nice. So that's where we're at. Hard to really take anything away from this game. It was a win. They needed it. They got it. But the problem is they move on to Memphis now to kick off a 3-game road trip on Wednesday. 4 o'clock tip with game day starting at 1:30 here on 620 Rip City Radio. Memphis, one of the best teams in the NBA and one of the best defensive teams in the NBA and very physical. So a good test for Portland as they finish up the 6-game homestand. Chris Burkhart is with me, as always, here on the 5th quarter. Burkhart, this game tonight, as I mentioned to you in the first half when we were watching it, the Atlanta just hanging around Portland, unable to get separation and, just never really given the response I've been looking for the last couple of months. But what were some of your takeaways as you watched the Blazers battle away against the Hawks tonight?
Just another one of those games I think they let a team that they are better than on paper. I know that sounds weird because standings-wise they're not, but like home game, end of the stretch, you want to get a big win. They just let these teams hang around forever. And the thing is, that makes sense because Atlanta's not very good and Portland's not very good. So when you see that game, the reason it was so close is because that was 2 fairly equally matched teams. And as a Blazer fan, you got to look at Atlanta. No one's looking at Atlanta and saying they're one piece away from that championship run, right? Which means that's kind of where Portland is too. There's a lot of moving pieces here to fix it. But that's the frustrating part because I feel like when you have Damian Lillard, you have Jeremy Grant, you have GP2, you are basically fully healthy outside of Justice Winslow. Atlanta shouldn't hang around.
Dude, you know what I think of when I look at Atlanta? They remind me a lot of Portland as I was watching them tonight. I like Portland. They've got some pieces I like, but I'm really not quite clear on what they're trying to accomplish there.
Yeah.
They're kind of a middling team like Portland, which is no man's land in the NBA. I really don't know what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, their roster is just a mix of pieces put together and a couple puzzle pieces shoved into spots. Like, I mean, I contend you watched it tonight. You said you're not a big John Collins fan. I personally am. I think you can look at his production and his usage. Everything changed the minute Nate McMillan got there, and then the minute Clint Capella got there. They changed how they use him offensively. His rebound numbers dipped, and obviously, I mean, Clint Capella is one of the best rebounders in the game. So he's more of a victim of circumstance. I think in the right scenario, I think he'd play quite well. You can't tell me you wouldn't like his pick and roll next to Damian Lillard. I think it'd be beautiful. So, yeah, I think he's just a guy who needs a new setting. But the team itself is just a lot of mix of a lot of styles that just kind of clash.
Well, with John Collins, I like him. Maybe it's the recent play under McMillan that's kind of tainted my view. I guess here's my question. Is that a player you want to give up Ant for?
I would find a way to do it without Ant. I talked about this. Like, I think Ant is a piece. He's kind of like a borderline star, and I would give him up for a borderline star that makes my roster better, right? And I think John Collins fits that borderline star realm, but it's not the upgrade you need. As where Ant for OG Anunoby is where you're trading a borderline star for a borderline star. And what I mean by borderline is like OG, Ant, John Collins, they're like all-star guys, but they're legitimate starters, right?
Yeah, legit starters.
But Ant, for like an OG Anunoby, now you still get offense, you get the league's leading steal getter, you get a great rebounder, you fix a lot of holes that you have by getting rid of Ant. Ant for John Collins, you get a starting power forward, but you haven't fixed any of your holes. So for him, I would like to give up auxiliary pieces if that were doable.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, Memphis coming up on Wednesday. That's going to be a tough test for your Portland Trail Blazers. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. If you'd like to jump on board, you can do so. And share your thoughts on what you saw tonight with the Blazers finishing up the 6-game homestand at 3-3, 129-125 is your final. Blazers get the win. Dame, once again, sensational with 42 points. Let's go out to the phones. Josh Baker is joining us. Josh, what's up, buddy? Welcome to the fifth quarter.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Fabulous. What's up with you?
Good. Well, I enjoyed this game tonight. It was a great time. The Blazers got back on the winning, road, and it's going to be, a fun time leading up to my birthday in 2 weeks. And just hold on for a moment while my phone gets connected to my, truck. Road.
Come on, Baker. You got to tighten it up, man. If I come to you, we can't be waiting for it to connect to the Bluetooth.
Jeremy Grant hits the thruple.
Oh, the dreaded Bluetooth. I hate that when you jump on the phone. We've all done this before. You call someone right when you get in your car, and then you start it up, and then you get that dreaded transition about 5 seconds after the startup where it goes from phone call to Bluetooth. Brutal. Let's go out to Victor in Turkey. Victor, appreciate the phone call, my friend. Welcome back to the fifth quarter.
Hi, my brother. I'm really happy anyway tonight for Blazer fans, myself, of course, and my guy, my favorite guy, Ant Simon. You see, I don't accept really the definition of Chris said that maybe he might approve the Ant for Anobi or Josh Collin. The reason I don't agree with that, because you see, if they get any of those guys, it's not even 50% guaranteed they might get improvement in defense, but that's all they can get. And also, they are not going to win a championship. Many people call you and told you about that. Anobi, to me, you think you might call him a star. I call him above average. That's what I call him. And also, you have to look at the character of the personality, not only the basketball, how they're going to accomplish. How do you know that Anobi is going to be good in the locker room? His character, to me, I studied psychology in college for many, many years. When you look at the Simon on the TV station, he's so humble. He doesn't even want to talk. He's so shy. He's just like a little kid. The coach call him baby. They call the other guy the Sharpie. He said, well, he's like a baby. And is like a baby too. He's maybe 3 years older. So his character, his loyalty to Damian. Anytime he get the ball, he's going to pass it to the Damian right away. He has the most assist game. Now, how do you know about the Anobi or Josh Collin? I don't see that in their faces. If the faces of the people are very important. The psychologists, when you go to psychologists, I don't know, I've been to psychology. I had depression. I've been to a psychologist. I'm telling you the truth. When I went to the psychologist, the person who looked at my face, he said, man, you have a depression, or you have this problem or that problem. When you look at the faces of this player, Anobi or Josh Collin, what I'm saying is, yeah, they are a good player, but how do you know they're going to be loyal to the team or loyal to the, Damian Lillard? The most loyal people I've seen in the NBA, one of the most, is the Ant Simon. Another guy I'm going to tell you is, the older guy that Shabazz Napier. Remember Shabazz Napier?
I do.
I remember you interviewed him. You interviewed about his background, his family. He came from a poor family in a poor neighborhood. And he was one of the ones that even you interviewed him for some, maybe person to person. And you like him a lot, but he was only 6 foot, he was very short. And he was a good player, but they got rid of him. Kind of the same situation as Ant Simon. He was getting a high scoreage. And you said, well, he has a value, and he's the only one they have to trade him. The same thing is going to happen to Simon, but the Simon is 10 times better than Shabazz.
Well, that's
but
true.
they have the same character, Chad. You have to look at the character of the player. Number one, number two, the Anobi and Josh Collins. They are a better defensive player, but offensive, I don't buy it. That's what I want to say.
No, I appreciate it, Victor. As always, appreciate the phone call. Who is it? Larry David on Curb Your Enthusiasm. Maybe they should bring in Larry David, and he can do that deal where he stares in the eyes of the potential player. Like Larry David could lower the glasses and stare into the eyes of John Collins to know whether or not he's a giving player, to understand the psychology of John Collins. You know, what they do, Victor, is obviously if these teams are smart and they've got a lot of people that work for them, they do all their recons. So if you're going to go out and acquire a player, you're going to find out everything. Teams that do it the right way, they'll do their recon and find out everything they need to know about the player, from relationships, from coaches, from former teammates, current teammates. They do all the background to make sure they understand what they're about. And then they make the determination on whether or not that player will fit the team's culture. Now, I got to give the Blazers credit, and this is really going back to the days of Paul Allen. They made a concerted effort after the Jailblazer era to really focus on, bringing in different guys in the locker room and changing the culture, and they did that. And then that was something that was continued with Neil Olshey, who was very conscientious of the locker room and the guys he put in there. And so they've created a good culture. And it's a good thing. So I trust their judgment when it comes to those type of situations. All right, we'll keep things rolling here on fifth quarter. We'll come back in here from Ant. We're also going to hear from Coach and get his take on what went down tonight. I don't think we learned much. They did what they were supposed to do. They beat the Hawks. They shot the ball well, and they protected the basketball. Just 8 turnovers, 129-125 the final. And now they move on and get ready for Memphis. Road game coming up on Wednesday, 4 o'clock tip here on 620 Rip City Radio.
It's time for the Portland Trailblazers Drive of the Night, here on the fifth quarter, hosted by Chad Dewing, 620 Rip City Radio. Drive of the Night is brought to you by Dick's Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Wilsonville, ready to compete with the lowest prices in town.
Murray runs into two defenders, now pulls up from 10, fades away, missed it. Loose ball is grabbed by Hart. Splits the defenders as he takes it across the timeline. This time the lob to Sharp is right there, and he slams it in. Shaden Sharp showing off what we're going to see in Salt Lake City during the dunk contest.
He dunked that on the way up.
Yep.
All right, fifth quarter. Blazers get the win tonight, 129-125 over the Atlanta Hawks. 21 points, 7 assists for Anthony Simons. Once again, a very efficient game, 8 of 12 from the floor. He was with Brooke Olzendam after the game on the floor. I'd like to point out that Chris Burkhardt has been touting Anthony's catch and shoot abilities. Hey, Burkhardt, what kind of three was that he made on the pass from Dame to break the tie at 121? Yeah, catch and shoot, baby.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about.
Jeremy Grant hits the thruple.
Catch and shoot. It's smooth, man. Now he's got a quick release. He caught the ball with confidence, no hesitation, was able to put it up and down, which is nice. 503-248-0620. 503-248-0620. So if I go back to Josh Baker, I'll put this out to the YouTube chat. Josh Baker is on hold. I believe he's got his whole phone situation figured out. Should I go back to him right now? YouTubers, I'll let you decide. You can also hit me up on Twitter at Chad and Rip City. If you want to join us on the YouTube chat, you can do so. Just go to youtube.com. Pull up the homepage, Rip City Radio, and you'll see the live link right there from the homepage. 503-248-0620. All right, there's one no, and there's a yeah. Let's go out to the phones. I think Josh is ready. Josh, you ready now? What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Very well.
Good. Yeah, sorry about that. We were picking up the kids after going, me, Megan, and Monica to the games.
All right. Did you guys have a good time?
We did. We're getting out of the car right now, so bear with me a moment while they get out of the car. Stop! I did realize that I want to say sorry to Blazers Nation, okay? I did realize that me talking about our situation without all three of us together was inexcusable and unacceptable, and I am sorry for that. So there you have it. But Megan and Monica, my two M&Ms, they are both here, and we're going to all say hello to you guys.
All right, what's
so
up,
here's
fam?
Megan right now.
What's up, family?
Okay.
Hi.
Hey, good evening.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
That's Megan, and then Monica.
Hello. How's it going?
Very well. Good evening. Now, was it the kids, too? Was it an entire family event at the game tonight?
My mom watched the kids tonight.
Megan's mom watched the kids, so it was the throuple. Me, Megan, and Monica.
Well, good. Well, at least you got treated to a good game, right? Get the W tonight?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
It was a fun date night, and I just want to say sorry to the Blazer Nation for anything that you guys were upset about when I first told you guys, because this is a pretty amazing thing.
Why are you saying sorry?
This is a pretty amazing thing, and
Yeah.
I mean, like Megan said, I don't think I should have to say sorry, but
Don't say sorry.
I should, have all three of us together when I do talk about it.
All right. I mean, it's your show right now, Baker. You can say whatever you want, buddy. So if you feel the need to say sorry, you can do that. I think people were just curious as to why you decided to share it on the show, but I think you've already answered that.
The reason I really decided to share it on the show was because, I mean, as you know, we have shared a lot on the show. We've shared getting married. We've shared losing a baby. We've shared, trying to figure out what Maverick's name was going to be, Maverick or Blaze. We've shared a lot on the show, so that's, in my mind, why I wanted to share with you guys, because you guys are my family. I think in everyone's life, you have extended families, and Blazer Nation is part of my extended family.
It's true. Yeah, the fifth quarter family, man. That's what it is. There's no question about it. One big family, and you guys have been a part of it for a long time, Josh.
So I hope everyone can, accept us for what we are and, ride this, amazing wave with us, because we're having a good time. We're about 1 month into this, and it's so far going really well. Megan and Monica, my two M&Ms, they're planning my birthday party on Super Bowl Sunday.
How old are you going to be,
I'm going to be
Baker?
37 on Super Bowl
37?
Sunday. 37 on Super Bowl. That's pretty crazy.
That's
I'm
cool.
excited.
Both my kids.
I'm normally the planner and everything, so it's kind of cool that my two ladies are planning this whole shindig.
That's great. Yeah, both Isaac and Kaylee, their birthdays are in February as well. And I appreciate it, buddy. Josh Baker and the family. Now, I'll tell you one thing. If the Blazers continue to lose games at this ridiculous clip, I'm going to have to ask that you break up the throuple. Because if they keep losing, I'm going to blame you for it, Baker. All right? You got to start playing better basketball. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. 503-248-0620. Let's go ahead and step into the Coach's Corner and take a listen to Coach Billups.
It's time for the Coach's Corner with Chauncey Billups on Blazers Game Day, presented by Henderson & Daughter. Henderson & Daughter has been supplying superior design service, quality windows, entry doors, patio doors, and window installation to the Portland and Southwest Washington area since 1977. Before you decide to just replace your current windows or exterior doors, have our designers present you with a free in-home design consultation and estimate to show you the different styles we carry that can give your home a fresh new look. Henderson & Daughter, your window and door experts.
I'll get to Han's comment in just a moment, but here is Coach Billups following the Blazers' 129-125 victory over the Hawks.
Well, I thought we did a good job. I thought offensively we settled in and got the type of shots we needed and we wanted with the last 4 or 5 minutes. And I thought our guys did a good job of drawing the defense, making the correct play, and then defensively just lost focus a few times, I just want guys to score on us. We get so many reaching fouls and just reaching and hands in the getting caught in the cookie jar, and just it's tough. It's tough to win like that. Like it's disappointing, but I'm glad obviously that we won the game, but that's how you actually lose the game. So a little disappointed in that, but obviously happy that we came away with the win.
What is different lately about Anthony's playmaking? He's getting a lot of assists lately. What have you seen?
I think he's just making a simple play. He drives and there's a guy in front of him. The guy that's open, just make that play, as opposed to worrying about reading the defense and get the assist. I think he's just simplified his game, and he's just making a simple play.
Is that something you were stressing to him, or is that something he did?
Yeah, it's something that we've been talking about, he and I, because I know how, as a young player, I know how fast the game could be moving, and I know Like I explained to him one time, I had a really bad habit when I was a rookie of driving and jumping in the air and passing and turning it over all the time. And the way that I best worked on that is just as soon as I seen the open guy, I just passed it to him. And it actually made the offense flow better. It made the plays flow better. And then I stopped turning the ball over. And so I shared that with him. And I think he's doing a really good job of just playing simple, you know.
Can you remember what spurred you to bring that up and about what time?
I don't remember what time it was, Jason. It had to be probably, 5-6 games ago maybe. And just I see him in games thinking so much and being indecisive, not knowing when the play make, when to pass, and I said just to make it very, very simple. You see somebody in front of you, because you always can get around your guy. If the guy's in front of you, just kick it. Just kick it to the open man, and the ball will probably come back around to you most of the time. So it's crazy how that works.
Shaden had 10 points and played almost 25 minutes tonight. What was he doing out there that kind of you let him out there a little bit longer than usual, and what did you guys get out of him?
I thought Shaden, he did a good job offensively. He had more mistakes than he's been having defensively, to be honest with you. But he did a good job offensively, just kind of being in tune. He passed up a couple shots that I would have liked him to take. But it just happens like that, you know, when you're playing kind of 3-guard rotation with Ant and Dame and him, and then, you know, you can't, you gotta give somebody some rest. So it just kind of happened that way.
Do you see him getting more comfortable over the last couple of weeks than he was before?
I do. I see him, and that's why I was so surprised with some of the defensive, you know, mishaps that he had, because he hadn't been doing that. You know. So he's been getting.
All right, there's Coach Billups following the Blazers' victory, 129-125 over the Hawks. You know, one thing I was wondering, I've had a few people hit me up about this, but, you know, the way Billups went away from Nurk, Burkhart, do you think that was because Nurk was coming off the calf situation, he was a game-time decision, or is that more of an indication that Coach Billups doesn't trust his big man? Because the message it sure seemed like it was sending to me was he doesn't trust Nurk.
Well, I mean, it's multifold, right? Like, he's not using him a ton offensively, but also, who has been the better defensive center the last few weeks? It's been Drew Eubanks, without question. So if I need defensive stops, I think I might be rolling with Drew Eubanks right now.
He's more active.
Mm-hmm.
He's at a disadvantage because of his size. Obviously, they don't rebound as well as when he's in. But, again, I know how coaches think, right? If you have someone that you can trust, or at least know what they're going to give you night in and night out, you feel a lot more comfortable having them on the floor. Or you can just go small and go with the other guys that you trust instead of putting Nurk out there. And if Billups doesn't trust him, then you got to wonder about some of his teammates not trusting him in some of those key spots.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's not a great point, but it's a good point. Like, I mean, what I mean by not great is, like, it's a tough pill to swallow, right? That your starting center is someone that can't be trusted in certain situations. It's because, like I said on courtside today and said on my podcast, it's now the way I describe him is he is a roller coaster, dude, but he's the bad kind. He's a Six Flags roller coaster. There's corkscrews and loop-de-loops and giant 180-foot free falls, and you experience weightlessness. And he just needs to be one of those Oaks Parks roller coasters that just sit there in a perfect oval, and all the kids jump on. You hear all the kids all excited, right? Like, wow, this is so fun. But the ups and downs are only like 4-foot drops and just spins in one solid circle. Nothing out of the blue. You just know that you're in for a good, consistent ride.
I miss the days when my daughter wanted to ride that roller coaster. They got the little baby one at Oaks Park.
Right?
I had no problem riding that. I'd go around and around and around because it didn't make me sick. But now that she's older, she's like, she wants to do all the crazy stuff.
Yeah.
It has an impact on me. But you're right. You know, that's Nurk. That's really what he's been now for multiple seasons here in Portland. When the highs are here, they're incredibly high. Like his 5x5 game. But the lows, They're extremely low. There's no middle ground with Dirk.
Yeah, it's frustrating because when he is on, he is maybe a top 10 center when he's at his best. But when he's bad, he might be a bottom 10 center. That's why I put him about 15, 16 range when it comes to top centers in the league. It's just so up and down, man.
All right, we'll keep things rolling here on fifth quarter. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. You can join the YouTube live chat if you want and check things out in the studio. Next game coming up on Wednesday. It's a 4 o'clock tip against Memphis. It'll be right here on your home of the Blazers, 620 Rip City Radio.
Let me guess. Unknown caller? You could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection. The latest innovation from Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data. And we'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
The fifth quarter poster play of the night is brought to you by Collection Connection, the leaders in framing sports memorabilia, team awards, and so much more. Collection Connection offers you a one-stop, full-service framing experience. Find them online at COLLCONN.com.
High screen. Dave goes the other way. He's bumped and kicks to Peyton. Peyton Looks for the lob for Sharp. This time the easy dunk for Shaden. 10 points for Shaden Sharp.
All right, fifth quarter, 129-125 the final as the Trailblazers get the win. They finish up the 6-game homestand at 3-3. And Jason Quick put out some interesting details on Jeremy Grant today. He said Jeremy Grant on Monday told The Athletic the Blazers have offered him a 4-year, $112 million extension, but he will likely wait until after the season to make a decision. He has until June 30th to accept the offer. He said, quote, I'm kind of focused on the season at hand right now. Probably will wait until after the season and talk to General Manager Joe Cronin. Everything is good. I like it here. Really enjoying it. So, yeah, we'll discuss it when it's time. And then he went on to say, if Grant doesn't accept the offer, he will become a free agent on July 1st, when he will be eligible to be offered as much as 5 years and $233 million by Portland. Other teams could offer him as much as 4 years, $174. Wow. Hey, Burkhart, do you think someone would – is he worth 5 years at $233? Like, Jeremy Grant can't get 5 years and $233, can he?
I think he's going to get the 5 years. I don't think he's full maxing out on that.
So he's not going to get 5 years at $233.
No, I think he's playing here for the Blazers to get that extra year tacked on. But I don't think he's getting that full money on that deal that he could get. I think that would be a quite improper financial move for the Blazers.
But he likely signs in Portland because he can get that extra year of guaranteed cash.
Yes, and I think, for a guy like him who's bounced around now a little bit, has a spot, give me that extra year, and we'll go from there, right? So I think that's the smart move by him. All indications, I'm sure you're getting the same, but all indications I've been getting is that he's very comfortable here, wants to stay here. He is their priority heading into the offseason. So I'm not sweating the fact that he hasn't signed that extension. I mean, if you had the chance to make a little bit extra money on top of it and guarantee another year of guaranteed money, I'm not going to sign pen to paper either. I'm going to wait till you give me that extra guaranteed year.
Do you think there's another team out there that would offer him 4 years at 174?
I mean, the thing is, I'd have to go through the financials and see who has it. That's the big thing. But you're telling me where he would fit if they could free up that space. I mean, you can't tell me that a Lakers wouldn't want him, right? A nice big, pair him next to AD, get some points in that lineup. A guy who can shoot, which is what a team like that desperately needs. But I think you just start going around the league, who has money, what's out there. I don't see anyone throwing, the dump truck at him full of cash.
All right, so he's probably just playing it smart.
Yeah.
He's not overplaying his hand right now. I like it here, but I'm going to wait, and then we'll have a discussion. So that's just good business on his part.
Yep.
He's angling for the 5th year.
Yep, and I think anyone smart would do that.
And then if the Blazers lowball him, then he can look to other opportunities.
Yeah, so the ball is now in their court to make sure they play their cards right here.
Wow, that is some big time scratch. Gosh. All right, let's get you up to date around the NBA, courtesy of A.
The fifth quarter on 620 Rip City Radio presents the Scoreboard Report, brought to you by the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill, A.L.N.A.'s ultimate venue for sports fans every Monday night, featuring beer and wing specials and more.
All right, checking the scoreboard in Philadelphia tonight. The Magic take out the Sixers 119-109. Paolo Banchero, soon to be Rookie of the Year, 29 points, 9 rebounds. In Brooklyn, the Nets take out the Lakers 121-104. Kyrie Irving, 26 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Final in overtime down in Minnesota. The Kings over the Timberwolves 118-111. De'Aaron Fox with 32. Warriors 128. Thunder 120 in Oklahoma City. Steph Curry 38 points, 12 assists. Wizards win in San Antonio 127-106. Kristaps Porzingis with 17 points, 9 rebounds. Dallas 111, Detroit 105. Luka Doncic 53 points and 8 rebounds tonight. Mavericks get the win in Big D and improve to 27-25. Suns over the Raptors in The Valley 114-106. Phoenix also 27-25, and the Blazers moved their record to 24-26 and topped the Hawks 129-125. Lillard a game high 42 points. Take a look at the standings right now in the Western Conference. Denver sits atop the West, 2 games in front of Memphis. Sacramento in third, 5.5 back. Clippers in fourth, 7.5 back. Warriors now in fifth, they're 8 games back. And Dallas, 8 games back in sixth, followed by Phoenix, New Orleans, Minnesota, and Utah. Portland right now 12th. They're 10 games back of first in the Western Conference. They are 2 games behind the Warriors, who are in fifth, the Mavericks, who are also there, 8 games back, sitting right now in sixth. And that is your scoreboard report brought to you by A. Well, we'll get a good look at Memphis. I'm having a lot of fun watching them play right now. That's going to be a tough game for Portland. Great defensively, very physical, and, man, they attack the basket. And John Morant is a monster, Burkhardt. He's an animal.
Yeah, he's really, really good. He reminds me of young Russell Westbrook, just with a little, a shot to throw in and super entertaining. But the bounce, man, the guy just gets out of the gym for his size. It's unreal. And then you throw in Dylan Brooks, who is a pest. You throw in Steven Adams, who's one of my personal favorite players in the NBA. Like, that's a squad right there. That's not a team. That's a squad.
Big-time squad. I just like how they play. I like physical. They're young, athletic, and physical. And they get after it defensively. And they kind of have an I don't give a bleep about who we're playing attitude. You know, Ja recently said, yeah, the rest of the Western Conference doesn't concern me.
Yeah. But these teams like Memphis, like, they're blueprints, like, of how a team like Portland should be doing things. Like, Portland is struggling now, but it's like Memphis, like, is Memphis some big free agent destination? If you're in the YouTube chat, chime in. Have you been to Memphis? I don't think a lot of people go to Memphis and go, yeah, this is where I want to move and play basketball. Like, that's a small market, not a lot to do. Like, Portland is a way more lively city than Memphis. So, like, all the things that people say work against Portland work against Memphis, but probably worse, right? But here they are, one of the best teams in the NBA because they've drafted well, they've traded well, they've built their roster with the type of players that mesh very well skill set with each other. They have the guys who play defense. They have the big body in Steven Adams, who's going to, make it hell for any setter in the NBA. Even Embiid and Jokic are going to get pushed around by him, right? You have a star in John Morant and all those auxiliary pieces around him. It's a perfect blueprint for building a team in a city that most people would say, oh, that's not a free agent destination. Not a lot of people would want to go there. But here you are in the middle of Tennessee. You have this great, great basketball team right now.
That's a great point. All right, we'll keep things rolling here on the 5th. We'll come back and put a nice little wrap on this show as the Blazers get the win and now get ready for a 3-game road trip starting Wednesday in Memphis. Blazers get the win tonight, 129-125 over the Hawks. It was Dame time tonight, 42 points, 17 of 17 from the foul line as the Blazers get the win.
It's time for the Nothing But Net Shot of the Night here on the fifth quarter, 620 Rip City Radio. The Nothing But Net Shot of the Night is brought to you by Oregon Dungeness Crab. Sustainably harvested, uniquely delicious, and always wild. Oregon Dungeness Crab always sounds good for dinner.
Blazers will bring it up. Here's Damian Lillard. He dribbles right. He drives. He kicks to Simons for three. Got it! Anthony Simons from downtown. Blazers lead by 3. Timeout Atlanta.
All right, there you go. The big shot, man. Anthony Simons, big three tonight, broke the tie at 121, and the Blazers go on to get the victory tonight, 129-125. Chris Burkhardt and Chad doing fifth quarter here on 620 Rip City Radio. Hey, Burkhardt, I was thinking a little bit more about Jeremy Grant. Like, the Blazers are not making that trade to acquire Grant without having some type of handshake deal in place, right? I mean, that's the way I've always been told it went down. Before that trade is made, they have, a handshake agreement in place. The extension couldn't be signed right away when he was, traded for. So you have an understanding going into it, hey, we're going to do this, and then after the season, we'll take care of you, right? So I would imagine that none of this is a surprise in terms of how this is supposed to play out.
Yeah, I think giving him the extension, right, is merely a formality. I mean, what's it look like if they don't offer that and everyone's like, oh, what's going on? And it's the smart move to do anyway. Maybe things have changed and he does sign it. But, yeah, this is all indications this thing, much like the season, even though people worry about that, is that it's playing out exactly how we thought it would from the jump.
I agree. All right, final thoughts tonight. Blazers get the win. Now we move on to Memphis. Get ready for a tough road game.
Yeah, a very tough road game. A very, very tough road game. But Central Barbecue is worth it for any of those Blazer players out there listening or any Blazer fans.
Is it the best barbecue you've had?
It's a good one. It's up there.
Right up there.
But there was a place in Toronto that's now closed because their owner got embroiled in some
controversy.
The controversy during the pandemic. But it was called Adamson's Barbecue, and it was in Toronto. And you wouldn't think Toronto, but it was the best barbecue on the NBA road. It was phenomenal. Central Barbecue in Memphis probably gets up there, and there's a place called R&R in Utah that I really enjoyed.
All right, so what's the go-to at the place in Memphis? Pulled pork? Like, what are you going to hit if you go there?
You can't ask me, because when I go into a barbecue joint,
it's everything.
I come hungry, and I get the most meat platter. It's going to have the turkey. It's going to have the pulled pork. I will not enter a barbecue joint and not get brisket unless they're sold out. And I'm going to have a baby back. Now, the baby backs at Central Barbecue they're the ones where you just grab the bone and it just pulls out.
Do you like the burn ends?
Yes. But Memphis also has the original Gus's famous fried chicken, which is the best fried chicken in the world. And if you're in Memphis, you have to stop at Gus's.
It's also a great music town as well.
Oh, yeah. My grandpa, who we played his version of Harlem Nocturne back when, before he passed.
Great song.
Anytime I was in Memphis, oh, Grandpa, I'm here on Beale Street. And he always has stories, too. Oh, yeah, well, if you're ever in Nashville, there's this one bar where you can find my picture on the wall. And Memphis this, and, Beale Street that. And Beale Street's awesome. Beale Street's awesome.
I was talking with John Oates. Interviewed him once, and he moved to Memphis, and he said great food, but he also said the music scene was amazing, and it reinvigorated him for music again. And he said what happened is that he moved there, and he had been out on tour, and when they're on tour as Hall & Oates, they just play the same songs, basically all the hits, night in and night out. Mm-hmm. So you end up going through the motions, right? Because you know the songs, you've done them over and over again, you're just out there performing and playing the hits. But he said what happened in Memphis is he started just going out on the town with his wife and going to clubs and watching the local musicians. Mm-hmm. He would watch them play and perfect their craft and work on their stuff. And he said it re-inspired him to really focus on music again, playing and focusing on details and doing all that just by being in Memphis, around the scene, and having the young musicians and the way they go about it there.
Yeah. Obviously, but another great one, New Orleans, man. If you've never been there,
It's great.
I remember when we were there for the playoffs, right? A bunch of the guys went out, and it was like me and Sokach. Casey Holdall was with us, Trailblazers PR, and we were going to go to this bar on Frenchman Street because they were playing some live music that we wanted to hear, this particular band. Except, like, we didn't know where it was. It's, like, midnight. We're just walking through New Orleans, and literally, like, we just, like, kind of stopped for a second. We're like, follow the trombone. And, like, we just were walking through and, like, okay, I think turn right here. We just followed. All of a sudden, we popped in the street, and there was, like, 3, 4, 5, 6 different live bands on the street, and this is all jazzy music. The bar was phenomenal. But New Orleans, everywhere you go, someone's got a trumpet in hand or a sax in hand. It's